Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. A delayed result of a registration search did not deter the arrest of William Raymond Tate, age 51, of Yantis, and the recovery of a stolen Wood County vehicle. A traffic stop following normal procedures received a delayed response from Wood County Sheriff's Office. That delayed response was a hit for a stolen vehicle. Hopkins County deputies and Silver Springs Police became aware of the unauthorized use of motor vehicle and began to watch for the 2011 gray Jetta. They found it in a convenience store parking lot on Broadway Street. Tate was arrested at 9:30 p.m. Thursday. No grass growing in the pond means fewer birds attracted to the water. That's the goal of the work underway at the Silver Springs Airport Pond. City workers are pouring concrete this week to conclude a project that's been delayed for some time. The project is funded by the Texas Ramp Grant and the city's Enterprise Fund. Peter Karsten, City Finance Director, said the pond was first put in place to serve as a retention pond to assist in the drainage in the area in front of the Aerodome terminal. However, its use has changed over the years. Karsten said it's now a detention pond to slow the flow of water to assist with stopping erosion along the taxiway. Valves are also in place in the pond to assist in flushing lines when and if a raw water pipeline next to the pond begins to leak. The pipeline is 20 years old, according to Karsten, and when it leaks, which currently seldom happens, it takes the city water treatment plant 6 to 7 hours to flush the lines. That 6 or 7 hours of diverted flow can be crucial for water pressure in the city. Karsten said 7 or 8 years ago, city water treatment workers watched as the level of water towers dropped as the flushing took place. He said that in hot, dry seasons, the continual flow of water to the towers becomes urgent. With the valves installed in the airport pond, the water can be used to flush the pipes into Lake Sulphur Springs. The cost of the work currently underway is a 50-50 split between the City Enterprise Fund and the Ramp Grant. He said that keeping birds away from the local airport landing and takeoff patterns was a problem due to the proximity of the lake, and grass in the pond would only add to the issue. The fountain in the pond serves as both an aerator for the pond to keep the water fresh and a water feature for ambiance of the airport entrance. The Northeast Texas Beef Improvement Organization, or NetBio, preconditioned stocker and feeder sale is in the habit of setting records, and it did again September 21st. Not only was there a full house of buyers, sellers, and interested cattle producers, but also 5,715 head of cattle consigned to the sale. The number of sellers continues to grow. A total of 256 sellers consigned cattle to the sale. There was an excellent buyer attendance, along with some buyers bidding over the internet. Several livestock feed yards were also represented at the sale. There was a total of 38 buyers who purchased cattle at an average of $805.70 per head, slightly lower than the average per head in July, but stronger than normal for today's market. The net bio sale gives producers a market to offer their preconditioned and weaned calves and yearlings in load lot quantities. Net bio membership continues to grow. The final sale for this year will be November 16th. The fourth annual Walk Like Mad Glow Walk in Hopkins County is Saturday evening at Celebration Plaza from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. The event is a fundraiser for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Regarding the fundraiser, a little friendly competition has been established between the Silver Springs Police Department and Hopkins County Sheriff's Office. A member of the losing team will wear a blue tutu during the walk. Corley Weatherford, captain of the Sheriff's Department team, says funds donated during the walk serve two purposes. He encourages everyone to contribute to the walk, and especially to contribute to the county sheriff's team.
We do have a competition. The walk is made up of teams or individuals. We have a sheriff's office team, and the police department has a team. We do have a little friendly competition between us and the police department about who can raise the most money and have the most participants to benefit MAD. And the loser of that gets to participate in the walk in a blue tutu. So we definitely want to win that competition.
And it's kind of personal for you, isn't it? Aren't you the one who will have to wear the tutu?
Yes. I would be the one, unless I can pawn it off on somebody else.
And for the police?
Eddie Moon is the team captain for the police department.
Obviously, this is a very serious activity that you guys are involved in.
Yes, sir. Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD, puts this on. This is the 4th annual walk here in Hopkins County. And it's also for the surrounding counties, not just here. But they do a lot of things from victim services that never end. They start from the time that they're needed and they continue forever. So the money for this goes in a large part to the victim services. They also assist law enforcement with equipment and things needed for the detection and prosecution of DWIs.
When you talk about services to victims, what kind of services are we talking about?
Whatever may be needed by the family. They offer a whole host of things.
Counseling and so forth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How does one donate to the Sheriff's Department?
Well, we have they have a website. I can give it to you. It's going to be www.walklikemad.org, and that site has all the different walks, the glow walks from across the country, and you can find the one for here in Hopkins County for Northeast Texas, and then you can find the Sheriff's Office team, and you can donate to the team. You can join our team and come walk with us Saturday. It is a glow walk, so the walk itself is between 8 and 10 o'clock on the square in Sulphur Springs. There will be some activities for kids, jump houses, and things like that starting around 6 o'clock, but the walk itself will start at 8. There will be all kinds of glow sticks and sunglasses and angel wings and everything under the sun available there to wear during the walk.
Again, tell us the date on this.
It'll be Saturday, the 24th, at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Celebration Plaza, Sulphur Springs.
It's almost time for the United Way campaign to get started, and this year's campaign chairman is Brandon Williams. He's here to tell us all about the goal for the Hopkins County United Way campaign.
Our goal this year is $165,000.
Okay.
You know what's unique about that goal, too? We do it in a really interesting fashion. So we set a goal of $165,000. We formed an allocations committee, and we even divvied up all the money. And this was like 6 months ago. And that's before we've raised $1. So we know where each dollar's going. There's 17 organizations right here in Hopkins County that are the ultimate beneficiaries for this campaign. So it's pretty neat.
And it does run like a well-oiled machine, it seems to us.
It does. I'll tell you. I mean, on the campaign brochures, which I failed to bring with me this morning to give you, but I'll bring you one. Okay. It does have me listed as campaign chair, but I'll tell you what, Susan Burning might as well be the campaign. She's really the campaign chair every year. She's the one that keeps it organized and keeps it easy for folks like me and everybody volunteering. I mean, she has it down in a process that really works. It's very effective. So,
is she the secretary?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
She is, and she takes care of a lot of things and has a really good system in place. Takes care of everything ready for our quarterly board meetings. Keeps the books in line with a CPA that we're using as well, and just really a good liaison between the behind the scenes process and the end result. So it's great.
Well, let me ask you a few things as we just chat about United Way. And you mentioned the 17 organizations that you will give funding to.
Sure.
So how do these organizations get on your list? Do they come and make an appeal?
That's correct. The process, they're going to fill out an application and kind of explain how much they're requesting, what they're using the funds for, and being able to verify that the funds are staying here in Hopkins County. That's a big part of it as well, making sure it stays local and everything. And then what they do once they go through the application process, they come in and essentially tell their story in front of the allocations committee. There were 7 or 8 of us on that committee this year, and we spent 2 days listening to folks and the people's lives that are impacted in this community, and that's when we kind of took all that information in and divvied it up depending on the nonprofits that were coming in requesting funding. And I'll tell you, it's an interesting thing. There are a lot of folks in this community that have seen or been a part of some terrible stuff, some abuse, it's so sad hearing these stories. You have Lake Country Casa come in and tell a story about, some kids and some things that are unfortunate and things that they've seen that no kid should ever see. You have kids and adults that go to bed hungry every night. They wake up hungry every morning, and they might get their only meals for the week at Community Chest. They might go down to Dinner Bell at the Methodist Church, and that might be their one meal that Wednesday. And it really does make you having a bad day. I can promise you there's folks right here in our backyard that might be having a more of a tough time. It's very eye-opening, and it's, like I said, it's an honor to be a part of this and raise money to help people. It feels good to help people.
And you have a heart for helping. I think that's evident whenever you talk. I did want to ask, without looking at a list and not to name names, but some organizations maybe you seem to always go, with their design, and then maybe some new ones.
Sure. It depends on who's requesting funding. Some organizations request funding. They have for many, many, many years, and in the foreseeable future they will. Sometimes folks drop off for a myriad of reasons, and they might come back in the next year or two. But an example, a new one this year, there is a contribution to Bright Star Baseball. They have a nice campaign going. We at Guarantee Bank and Trust and people all over the community, but we volunteer out there and help the Bright Star Baseball folks sponsor meals and things. But and it's great for the kids, but also too they're trying to raise money to build these guys a field, and it's pretty cool for our community to rally around this deal, and we're proud to be a part of it for this year too. So that's an example of a new one. Okay. But then you have folks like Lake Country Casa or Community Chest that I mentioned earlier, or Boy Scouts, or that have been around for years, and we've continued to support them, and they've continued to support us. So it's pretty neat. So it's not always going to be the same amounts or the same organizations, right, but there's going to be some that come in, and that's just part of the deal. That we don't have a certain number that we're always going to target. It just depends on the scenario that you're in, the base off need, and who's keeping the money in town.
Okay, and it is in town and in county. Hopkins County United Way.
That's correct. So
the next thing, now that you have opened the season, it starts October 1st?
Well, okay, that's good. So technically the campaign runs for the whole month of October. However, we did our volunteers luncheon this past Wednesday, 2 days ago, and we gave out all the packets to the campaign volunteers. Okay. And for everybody listening out there in radio land, you might have already seen people out dropping packets off, collecting money and things like that. And if you haven't seen them yet, I'm quite certain you will in the next few days or so. So we got a little bit of an extra start or a head start, and we're going to go through the whole month of October and try to wrap it up by that first Wednesday in November.
And along the way, you'll kind of keep us posted as to progress.
That's exactly right. We have weekly updates, and we'll gather funds from all these organizations, individuals, small businesses, large businesses, and we'll keep a running tally. And when I say we, I mean Susan Burning. Back to her. She really does do a good job of keeping it up. We'll have the digital billboard there by Chili's, kind of with the thermometer, keeping us with where we're at in relationship to our goal and everything. So yeah, we're I promise you, we're all over it down to the penny on how close we are to hitting that $165,000 goal this year.
And we won't have the big cardboard, is it cardboard or wood thermometer downtown?
I don't know. I think we might have transitioned into the more of the digital thermometer. It's probably a little easier to update.
It was neat, though, to see that. Well, I want to say that now these who have their packets, and these are the United Way volunteer workers, they're going to be taking their packets to the businesses.
Sure.
And dropping them off and saying, please consider. And sometimes you have to go back, and they may have to go back again. But sometimes the business doesn't realize they need maybe to get that back out.
Fortunately, in this community, that's what I was telling folks sometimes the volunteers, we have some that have been doing it 20 years, some this is their first year. Some of them are scared to death that they're going to have to go out there and be a salesman. And that's the first thing I told them. There's no salesmanship associated with this. Typically, the businesses know we're coming. They're expecting us to come. They're looking forward to us to come. And then typically when we drop off the packet, a good best practice that we shared at our workers' luncheon, write the date you're going to be back to pick up the packet and everything. Every now and then, people get busy. We get it. We'll, follow up a time or two. But it's a pretty well-oiled machine. We've been doing it so long that it is really a unique and awesome community that we're in. So we don't have to hound anybody. We don't want to pressure anybody to give money. That's just part of a lot of times part of people's annual giving process.
And so many people who work are already supporting United Way, and they may not really remember that maybe long ago they did that payroll deduction. It comes out every week.
Very good point there. Like I said, there's people that'll pay individuals or businesses or whatever, they'll do a one-time donation, but there are a lot of these organizations that do the payroll deductions just a little bit at a time. I mean, there's a handful of organizations out here that, we're going to get an update every single month and every single quarter, and the money will just keep coming in through their employee deductions. And that's just an easy way to do it, to where it doesn't sting as bad. If somebody gave money, a lump sum or what have you, that'll sting a little bit more. But when you're taking out a few bucks per pay period, you almost don't even notice it. So
that's right.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to do it. Well, tell me about the speaker at your kickoff meeting.
This is an interesting deal. So our keynote speaker is Israel Lewis. Israel is the owner of Sulphur Springs Christian Counseling Center, and he's actually a good friend of mine as well. For anybody that follows him on social media, he does today it's like Gatorade for your Friday race, and his whole shtick is finish strong. So, Israel and I, you mentioned marathon racing and things like that. Israel and Judge Northcutt and Kevin Rape and I all ran a marathon together. It was my only marathon, by the way. I retired after that race. But we got to know each other very well, all of us, and Israel specifically has become a very good friend, and we talk on a regular basis. And so what I did, with permission from him, of course, I asked him, hey, I'd like Finish Strong to be my campaign theme. It really ties in. Folks are going through a tough time, and it's not about where you're at down in the dumps, perhaps, right this moment, but it's about how you finish and how you make that happen. So he does a good job on social media. He'll come in and real life happenings tied in with Bible stories, and it's just very inspirational, and it's pretty cool. So that's why I had him come out. I think he can really correlate his ministry that he does through social media and in this community to our United Way campaign. I think that's exactly fitting for what we needed for this particular campaign, 2016, 2017.
Finish Strong sounds wonderful. And we're just getting into United Way time, United Way campaign time. So if you see the worker bringing the packet, we'll be sure and process that. Maybe you work at a company that doesn't give to United Way, or maybe you're just a self-employed person or an individual. How might they get on board?
I'll tell you what, the easiest way, if somebody does not currently give, but they heard this today and they're thinking, I want to find out more, or yes, I want to give, they can call me directly. Again, my name's Brandon Williams. I work at Guarantee Bank and Trust. My phone number there is 903-885-3193, right there on Gilmer Street. And I'd be happy to walk them through the process, bring them some information, and answer any questions. That's just how it goes. There's some new businesses that pop up every year and that want to get on board and that do, and that's our job to help you do that if you're interested.
And there could be someone who might want to become a United Way volunteer.
That's right. Like I said, I've been on the board for 4 years, but the year prior to that, I've been involved for 5 years now. Somebody just asked me, hey, I really need some help being a campaign volunteer. And I was like, well, what is that? I don't know if I have time. And it really did change my life. I'm glad I said yes, because I went and kind of delivered packets, but the more and more I got involved, and to the point where 6 months ago I sat on this allocations committee, it will change how you view things in the world, in this community. It's just how much of an impact every dollar makes. And it started with somebody inviting me. I have a handful of brand new volunteers for this year that are helping me out graciously, and it just takes a little bit of time, and it feels good. It feels real good when you're able to go out there and make a difference locally.
I heard someone say, I would like to help, but I just don't know anyone in need. There are people in need.
Right in our backyard. There are more people in need in this community than you can ever imagine. There are. It'll make you sad if you hear some of the cases, and that's something that if somebody's out there and they want to hear more and some details as far as how many people that we're impacting and some statistics, we have some of those things available too. It's scary, but at the same time, we're fortunate to live in a community that cares and gives back, and this is a big deal. This is a huge deal. There's a lot of these, nonprofit organizations that thrive off donations just like this. So, and there's a lot of individuals that are the ultimate beneficiaries of these dollars that I'm sure that they would say they appreciate it as well. So,
Well, tell us about Old Timer.
All right, Old Timer was found wandering on the service road of the interstate about 2 months ago. And I wish I had brought some pictures of what he looked like at that time. He was skin and bones, hips are showing, looked like somebody had just almost skinned him. He had no hair on one side. We took him took him to the vet. Unfortunately, he is positive for heartworms, and he's an old dog. We don't know how old he is, but he's an old dog, and obviously the heartworms have never been treated. So he's got a pretty significant heartworm problem, and he coughs some. You can tell that when he gets to running, but he is on heartworm preventative now so that he doesn't transmit it to any other dog or anything, and it'll at least keep him at bay. But other than his heartworms, he has probably put on, I would say 25, 30 pounds at least. He's, of course, on his flea treatment now and eating very well. He's in a foster home right now, and he loves water, obviously, because he's a black lab,
Right.
and he does have the occasion to swim, which he very much likes to do that. So rides in the car. It comes in the house. I mean, he wants to come in the house, and so we can only assume that he does belong to someone, but nobody has come forward. I mean, he's been on Facebook, and we advertised before we actually officially took him, but nobody has come forward. So, I don't know where he came from, but at any rate, he's a pretty healthy dog to have the heartworm problem that he's got, and like I said, he's an older dog, but he is so loyal. I mean, if you let him off the leash, he doesn't leave your side, just right with you. I mean, he's just a nice old guy. So, if somebody wanted a dog that out in the country, that they just, no puppy in him.
Right.
So he's just a good old dog. So 439-5019 will adopt him. $90. We did not neuter him at the time because the vet at that time, he was in such poor health to where we definitely didn't want to do anything like that. But he's, to the point now he's healthy enough that could be done. He's already had his rabies shot, and so he would love to have a home, lay on somebody's porch or in their house,
Right.
whichever. And so he's.
Now, obviously, as long as you have to keep him, there is a cost involved with the treatments and feeding.
Right,
This side.
right. Yes, he eats quite a lot, and obviously because of the fact that he was so malnourished, that's one of the big reasons. So we're feeding him a lot to get the weight back on. But now that we've added the heartworm preventative, and that's of course an additional cost, but he'll stay on it.
Right.
Whatever, he's going to stay on that, and.
So donations would be appreciated,
Oh, yes.
I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. And the donations can be made directly to Hopkins County Vet because that's where his heartworm treatment comes from. And
Now, are they doing most of your
yes,
veterinary work?
yes, they do. They do all of our veterinary work, and they've been very good to us. And so it's just a good partnership. And
Well, he was running around outside before he came in, so I'm sure the heat's kind of got him down too.
yeah, the heat's not great for him, and but he does very well, and he's to be obviously as old as he is. We don't know exactly how old he is, but you can look by his teeth that he's not a puppy by any means, but he's got lots of energy. I mean, he's playful for an old guy, but yeah, he'd be great. We're going to be in Mount Pleasant on Saturday at the grand opening at their pet sense, so old timer won't be going because that's quite a long day for an old guy.
Yeah.
But we're going to take some other, hopefully about 8 dogs. Hopefully it's not going to rain on us. But so if anybody would like to come over to Mount Pleasant and see their new pet sense, we'll be there.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
Here is the statistical picture for the Wildcats football team as they open district play Friday night. They've averaged 29.8 points a game, and they've given up 44 points a game, and their season record is 1-3. The Wildcats have the number 2 rated offense in the district. They're averaging 367.3 yards per game. And the Wildcats have the district's 5th best defense, and they have allowed 406.8 yards per game. Looking at turnover plus and minus, the Wildcats have broken even. They've lost 9 turnovers, but they've also claimed 9 turnovers. Baxern Rogers is the district's 2nd best running back, having gained 323 yards in 4 games. And back Kason Goodson is 9th in the district in rushing with 132 yards. Quarterback Ryan Humphreys is the district's number 2 passer. He's completed 62 of 118 passes, that's 53%, for 822 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Receiver Simeon Taylor is the district's top pass catcher with 26. Receiver Cortavius Pruitt is tied for 7th in district with 9 catches, while receiver Calvin Eckert is tied for 11th in district with 8 catches. Kicker Angel Tavera is the district's 3rd-ranked punter, averaging 31.78 yards on 18 kicks. DJ Pitts, who is out with injury, still remains the district's 4th-rated punt returner, averaging 16 yards per return on 2 punt returns. And Taylor is 6th in the district in punt returns, averaging 5 yards per return on 2 punt returns. Taylor is also 5th in the district on kickoff returns, averaging 26.5 yards a return on 2 returns. And Kason Goodson tied for 7th in the district on kickoff returns, averaging 24.33 yards per return on 3 returns. Senior, or make that safety, I should say, DJ Abram tied for the district lead in interceptions with 2. And safety Austin Dodd and linebacker Jackson Renault were tied for 4th in the district with 1 pickoff each. Taylor is tied for 8th in the district with in district points. He has 24 points on 4 touchdowns, and Tavera is 10th in scoring with 19 points. That's 13 extra point kicks and 2 field goals. And Tavera is also ranked as the district's 2nd kicker in scoring. On defense, the leaders with total tackles and assists are Renault with 26 and Tyson Goodson with 25. Team sack leader is Deidrick Dugan. He's got 3, and then 5 players have recovered a fumble. Terrell Turman, Dodd, Damian Dugan, DJ Abram, and Jose Rodriguez.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.
Turtles and frogs, so we're doing this.
Texas Association for the Preservation of Turtles and Frogs.
Okay.
Was the one that complained. So we had to go and take this thing down another level just so that we were not putting any undue stress on the turtles and frogs.
So we wasn't actually cooking turtle soup out here in this big bowl.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that makes sense now, Joey. Thank you for clearing that up.
Glad to help.
Yeah.